The gift and curse of freedom. Jean-Paul Sartre believed that every person is free because of their unique experiences and self-awareness. Early in his career, he emphasized that this freedom made every person special, but it also made them vulnerable to being seen as mere objects by others. Later, Sartre focused on how larger systems like, capitalism, racism, and sexism objectify people and ignore their freedom. Sartre was influenced by Marxism but remained critical of it. He agreed that the working class needed to overthrow capitalism, but rejected Marx's idea that social and economic conditions fully shape a person's mind. Instead, Sartre argued man is condemned to be free, meaning people always have the freedom to make choices, even in difficult circumstances. He saw this freedom as both a gift and a burden because it comes with the responsibility to shape our own lives. The burden of responsibility. For Sartre, freedom meant complete responsibility. He believed that even choosing to not act is still a choice, and people are responsible for the consequences of their inactions. He wrote, "We are our choices," emphasizing that people cannot escape accountability for their lives. Sartre believed morality was personal and subjective. Each person decides what is right or wrong based on their own consciousness or not on universal rules. The difficulty of knowing the self. Sartre rejected the idea that people have fixed identities. He believed that saying, "that's just the way I am," is an excuse to avoid responsibility. And according to Jean Paul Sartre, people deceive themselves when they accept roles or identities imposed by society, such as being a dutiful worker or a good wife. He explained man is nothing else but what he makes of himself, meaning people are always free to change and redefine themselves. This process of self creation is complex because it requires recognizing external influences, which of course Sartre called faceticity, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, while understanding that consciousness is independent and, of course, changeable. Sartre described this challenge as a paradox because while we are responsible for our own consciousness, it is never fixed or fully understood. Now, let's talk about being in itself versus being for itself because Sartre described two ways of existing, and one way he describes it is being in itself. So, objects like, rocks, trees, or animals that have a fixed nature but no self awareness is being in itself. And being for itself are humans who are self aware but lack a fixed essence. He explained that humans are always aware of their own freedom and lack of a definite nature. Sorry, there's an airplane just passing by. I live very close to the airport. Do forgive me. Right, let's start again. So Jean-Paul Sartre, he explained that humans are always aware of their own freedom and lack of definite nature. So this makes human existence more dynamic and defined by choice. Or as he says, existence precedes essence. Very famous quote by Sartre, meaning that, of course, humans are not born with a set purpose but create their essence through their actions. The importance and danger of the other. Okay, we need to talk about the importance and danger of the other. Sartre argued that people become aware of themselves when they see themselves through the eyes of others, okay, through the eyes of other people. And this can be, of course, a double edged sword, if you fancy it. On one hand, we need others to help us understand who we are. However, on the other hand, being seen by others can make us feel like mere objects. And he explained this with the example of being caught peeking through a keyhole. Suddenly, the person feels shame because they realize they are being judged as an object. This idea also connects to oppression. Sartre believes systems like colonialism, sexism, racism treats people as objects instead of recognizing their freedom and individuality. And he wrote, "Hell is other people," not because the relationships are inherently bad, but because others can reduce us to stereotypes or fixed roles. True recognition of another person requires seeing them as free and self aware, just like ourselves. Sartre's philosophy emphasizes that humans are free, self aware, and of course responsible for their own lives. But of course, this freedom comes with a cost, comes with their own challenges, and we must resist being defined by others, accept the weight of our own choices, and create our own identities as we live on.